like the rainbow that needs the rain. Painful change can be a powerful gift of transformation. Change has made us afraid and insecure, but on our knees, we begin to look up. The times now challenge us to our greatest power, the remembrance of who we are and our infinite possibilities. We have what masters have. And self-actualized people, divinely illuminated people, can never be controlled. We vision not how bad things are, but how good they can be. The salvation of humanity lies where it always has, within us. And like my special guest Marianne Williamson says, our magic wand is the eternal compass of spiritual principles, standards and higher laws, and truer truths that never change, though this crazy world seems to. In returning to our right minds, we return to love. And like Martin Luther King, who embraced Gandhi, who embraced Christ's mind, love is the ultimate political force, more powerful than bullets. I'm Audrey Hope. Please join me on this next episode of Real Women with my very, very special guest, Marianne Williamson, for radical change and radical peace. Right here, right now, we are the ones to lead a sacred revolution and to be the change we long to see in the world. Please. Let's talk about women for a minute. You know, I remember Pat Allen had said, you know, let me just talk to the women. If we talk to the women, my God, the world could be...
She did so much for me. I love
so, yes,
Pat
true,
Allen.
right?
Yeah.
But it's true. She doesn't need to talk to the men. And then you wrote...
Well, but she talks to the men.
She does, but she just said if she can get to the women. And then you wrote The Woman's Worth, which is all about the woman being a queen. And really, if women really stepped up to their queenship, my God, could you imagine what could happen to
you know,
the world?
Gandhi said, if I could awaken the women of Asia, I could save India in a day. If you look at any advanced mammalian species that survives and thrives, one of the anthropological characteristics is the fierce behavior of the adult female when she senses a threat to her cubs. I mean, that's really amazing. I mean, you see a tigress or a lioness and how they go fierce when they sense a threat to their cubs. And nobody says about the tigress or the lioness at that point that she is strident or working out her anger issues. The hyenas, this is the one that amazes me. The adult female hyena, they encircle the cubs while they're feeding. And they will not allow the adult males to get anywhere near the food until the children, until the cubs have eaten. And I think to myself, surely the women of America could do better than the hyenas.
The most significant development, as you say, is the balance of the male and the female in this century, because we have been told so many lies in our history. I may take a real issue with this, part of my life purpose, about the lies that were told about, you know, and so thank you for that book.
Oh,
Woman's
thank you.
Worth,
Well,
for all my friends, on behalf of all my friends and everything. So one of the principles is that we can be spiritual giants. I love that, Marianne. You know, that we could really rise to the occasion and we can all be the change we long to see in the world.
I think that we need to see everything before this moment as rehearsal. I think that the moment of our blossoming has not occurred yet. And that's how we have to hold it. And that's how we have to hold it for each other. And we have to encourage each other, particularly at this time in history. I think sometimes we're waiting for everything to come together before we do anything magnificent. But spiritual surrender, you don't wait till your life is all together before you surrender it to God. You surrender to God when you're still a mess. That's what happens. And I believe that we are coming to understand that when the closer we get to our naked, authentic, spiritual truth, and you see this in art, you see it in religion, you see it, there's so many ways that this happens. We get there when someone dies. You get there right before you die. You get it at somebody else's deathbed. I mean, there are all kinds of moments and places where we get real. And what we need to remember is that in those moments when we do get to that real, with a capital R place, and you can call it Christ mind, you can call it Buddha mind, you can call it I fell in love. In that place, we enter a vortex of infinite possibility. and miraculous quantum unfolding. And that is why I said before, the question is, who can we become? And then things will happen, and there will be paths, and there will be connections between people, and there will be projects, and there will be things that will happen that truly amaze us, because that happens in any individual's life when you find a higher spiritual vibration. You know, truth with a capital T trumps falsehood. So when you're just moving towards truth, removing the blocks to your own awareness of love and dealing with those issues that keep you judging rather than blessing, and complaining rather than contributing, and whining and staying stuck in the past rather than being open to infinite possibility in the future. These are the things that change our lives. And that same force that can make such a difference in our own lives, when we join collectively at that level of deeper understanding, this world will change. Things will happen.
It sounds like, Marianne, that you're just beginning.
Wow.
I mean, truly. The changes you've gone through, when you look back at your life, are you surprised at your life, the way it all took? I mean, I know you began with looking at 2 blue books on a coffee table. Okay, so is it surprising to you to see how it all turned out?
Well, I don't have the same view of it that I don't even know how to say that. I mean, I don't know how to answer that, I guess.
Oh God, okay.
Sorry.
But when you started with the books, you began just in lecturing, just out of passion. You didn't know that this was going to become your life. We all want to thank you for that too, because we find that very inspiring.
I talk in the book about that. I talk about the beginning of my career and how now I see where a level of success came from. It came from the fact that I had no ambition whatsoever. And I understand that that's why it happened, because I was very naive, and my naivete was an asset. I talk in the book about how I never had any, the word bestseller wasn't even on my radar, and I would walk through the Galleria here, and I had no money to speak of, but because I knew I couldn't buy anything, I had no stress around it. Right. It was like going through a museum. The stress sets in when you know, okay, I can buy one dress. And then you're so stressed because, like, which one am I going to buy? But when you don't even have that going on. Yeah. So I was so like, wow, let's just talk about A Course in Miracles.
Did you like the fame? Do you like the fame?
I have had a hard time. It hasn't been an easy road for me. That has not been easy for me, no. I mean, some, and I'm not famous in a large cultural sense. There's a subculture within which I have some.
A very powerful subculture.
Well, thank you. But I think I've taken a lot of hits. I feel sort of like in the D-Day invasion, everybody was shot down in the first wave. And then but they still, the invasion was successful. I feel I was the first one out there. And then everybody else just kind of saunters through, and they're considered nice people. But all that projection of rage and animus just went, ugh. So, no, that has been hard for me.
Because you look terrific.
Thank you.
Knowing, I went to all your lectures. Well, not all.
Well, I went to all of them. Why weren't you there?
And it's just especially the one where you said, "Come on, everyone, come on, get up, get out there." I remember that one. That made such a deep impression on me. It's changed my life.
Thank you.
And do you remember that moment?
No, I don't.
We probably had so many of them, but
and I probably said that more than once.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Thank you,
can you leave us with a little prayer?
Oh,
something
sure.
For us here, us spiritually conscious counterculture that you see.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Dear God, join our hearts and minds as we ask that your Spirit be upon us. Remove from us our weaknesses, heal our wounds. We submit to you all that we have and all that we are. Make us who you would have us be, that we might do as you would have us do. We send love to everyone all over this world. Fill our hearts with light and this world with love. And so it is. Amen.
And so, amen.